A lady who seemed like an ordinary next-door neighbor ended up killing her own mother, her best friend, an innocent man, and ruined many more lives.
Doing okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Get some hot water for myself.
If you needed cold water
No.
or something, just say.
Did you ask him about the film?
What are you talking about?
Is this going to be filmed? Because I always appear on the news then, from Chris Hayes.
Oh, well, okay, I don't know about Chris Hayes, but in incidents such as this, okay, to protect you, to protect me, we're gonna record it, okay? Just because, that way, you know, it doesn't look like you're hiding anything, doesn't look like I'm hiding anything.
Okay. Once it did, I just started shooting. And my thought, I just moved forward on him and kept shooting. My thought was to try to get past this doorway.
At what point did you know you hit him?
I knew I hit him the first time, or I thought I hit him the first time, but he just stood there and looked at me. And so I just kept on shooting because he was just standing there like, so I assumed I hit him because I was this close. I was so close. I had shot quite a few times.
Before you fell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quite a few times.
If you had to guesstimate how many shots you think you fired?
I don't know, I did all of them that was in there.
You
And
know
I
how
think
many?
it was full,
Do you know how many rounds go in that
I think
particular
6.
weapon? 6.
I'm guessing.
This is Pamela Hupp, but this is not her story. She does not deserve the spotlight like she so wants. This is the story of Betsy Faria, Russ Faria, Shirley Newman, and how Pamela ruined all their lives. All Pamela should be known for is her ruthless ways and little concern for others' lives. Stay with us till the end of this video, and you'll have the same opinion. Let's first listen to this 911 call that Pamela made on August 16th, 2016.
911, where's your emergency?
Hey, hello, there's someone breaking in my house. Help!
What's
Help!
the address you're at?
Help!
Want me to give you, want me to give your wife?
No, I'm not getting in the car with you. No,
What's
get
your
away.
address?
Get out, get out, get out. Help!
Ma'am, what's the address you're at?
Help! Help!
I had somebody breaking into.
No, no, no.
Hello?
Help! Help!
Spoiler alert, the call was staged, but during this call, Pamela had claimed yet another life. She had killed 33-year-old Louis Gumpenberger, who had suffered a brain injury in 2005 and had limited mental capacity since then. And here's the interrogation that followed.
Oh, well, okay, I don't know about Chris Hayes, but in incidents such as this, okay, to protect you, to protect me, we're gonna record it, okay? Just because, that way, you know, it doesn't look like you're hiding anything, doesn't look like I'm hiding anything.
Okay.
That way I don't misconstrue something you say down the road, you know, like I misinterpret something you said, or I thought you said one thing and you actually said another, so. Okay, so, again, I appreciate you coming up here and talking to us. I know that you wanted to come up here instead of talking to the scene, which is great. I guess, is there, just out of curiosity, is there a reason why you came up? Is it cooler here or something,
No,
temperature-wise?
the officer said that I'd have to go back to here to repeat everything.
Oh, okay. So.
I didn't want to go anywhere.
Pamela's case is an excellent example of the dark triad in psychology, which consists of 3 personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, and psychopathy. Machiavellianism, in simple words, means when someone is sneaky and manipulative, willing to trick others to get what they want. In this clip, you can see her manipulation working right away. Notice how she seems disinterested, like she would rather be anywhere else than be here. This seems to be her way to make sure she is not coming off as guilty from any angle. But the detectives listen with intent because A, she is not a suspect yet. B, they are trying to build a rapport with her.
Well, I appreciate you coming up here with us, okay, and we'll take you home.
I just want to
We-
go
we can
anywhere
take you home,
but
too.
there.
Anywhere but there?
So that
Fair
was
enough.
fine to come here.
Fair enough.
Apologies for this interruption, but notice how Pamela interrupts the detective. You have to remember that she is someone who has successfully fooled multiple detectives, prosecutors, judges, and a jury already. So this has more or less become a hobby for her. Her confidence, the way she seems to take charge of the conversation, and the fact that she knows her story has to be plausible from the very beginning are enough to prove her mastery of manipulation.
So, Ms. Hupp, I don't know much about you. You keep throwing out these names and stuff like that. So I'm trying to stay on top of all this. But I guess let's start with. I really want to find out what happened today. So I'd like to get a very detailed account of like what happened today. And really, what I'd like to do is, if at all possible, probably start maybe like last night. Let's like work the 24 hours beforehand and work all the way through the incident. Make sure there's nothing that you saw or heard or something that might have happened or something like that. I don't want to miss anything. So let's try to go back like 24 hours or so, maybe yesterday afternoon, lunch,
Okay.
and let's work our way forward.
Yesterday I went to Best Buy and purchased some items and talked to the general manager there about getting a job for my nephew. Went home, got my nephew, said to bring him up, brought him up there. He talked to him for a little bit. We came back and we filled out some applications online. Went to Taco Bell, had lunch. Then I went home and then
So what time did you go to Best Buy, did you think? If you had to guess.
well, I was there right when it opened, so I think that's 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Because we had to wait in the parking lot a few minutes.
Okay.
So
Perfect.
I think it was 10 o'clock.
St. Peter's one?
Yeah, by the mall. Mhm.
Perfect.
And I was there, like I said, came all the way back to Fallon, got my nephew, went back up there, stayed up there a little bit, then we came back, had lunch, I dropped him off. We filled out applications, 3 applications for Best Buy. The instructions he had given us, and then I went home. And then walked my dog, fed him, did all that kind of stuff. My husband came home, I left and I went to Shop and Save at 3:30.
It may seem rather insignificant what Pamela did the previous day, but during an interrogation, such seemingly trivial questions are very important. They can help establish the basic body language of the subject. Here we notice how she doesn't meet the detective's eyes very often, how she seems to be randomly playing with something in her hand, and even casually wipes off the table. In a nutshell, she looks bored and her response seems rehearsed. The detectives can analyze changes in her basic body language to understand which questions trigger her more and when she is most vulnerable. Then she speaks for 6 to 7 minutes, describing her daily activity, but hesitates.
I was gonna go back to the mall. So I came home, because I knew I had to let the dog out then. So I came home, let the dog out.
So you went by whose house?
My daughter, who lives
What's her name?
off of Sarah.
Go ahead, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
You said she lives off of what?
You take First Capital. I don't want people to say it on TV.
I understand.
She's a teacher, so she don't need that. Off of First Capital. And she wasn't there.
Now, this makes it evident that Pamela is very aware that she's being recorded and all her responses are well calculated.
I just drove down the street, she wasn't there.
Sure. So you said circle back and went home.
Yeah, I got caught or came back down and went through, just cut through where Lindenwood is. She lives right there. Cut through there and got on the highway and went home.
Okay. And then what?
I got home, opened up the garage, pulled in, got my dog, walked him out in front so he could go pee. And he did his thing. Went back, put him inside, gave him a treat. Came back out. I was going to run back up to the mall. I was supposed to pick up a purchase that I from Best Buy. I had to make an appointment. My appointment's Friday. I was going to run up there, see if I could get it early. So I was going to run back up there. And as I started pulling out and got halfway out, I noticed as I was backing out that a car came down really fast down the cross street and whipped around right in front of my driveway because I'm right at the end. Here's the cross street and here's my driveway. So they came out and did this right in front of my driveway, and I looked up because it was so fast and startling, and somebody jumped out and I was like, wow, I don't know what I thought, if somebody was hurt, I don't know what was going on. It was so fast. And then he ran up, I was halfway out the drive where I was parked, and he jumped in my car. He opened up the door and jumped in my car.
Which door?
Passenger.
Front or back?
Oh, front.
Or passenger front? Go ahead.
And he had a bunch of stuff in his hands. I don't know what he had, but he had a knife also, but he had something in his other arm. I don't know what he had. And he put a knife and kept going, just yelling random stuff like, you're going to take me to the bank and get Russ's money.
Let us give you a little background to understand who Russ is. So Pamela was friends with Betsy Faria, who was battling breast cancer. Pamela was responsible for driving Betsy to her doctor's place and back home. In fact, Betsy had named Pamela as the sole beneficiary of $150,000 in her life insurance policy. A mere 4 days later, after that policy was amended, on December 27, 2011, Russ Faria found his wife, Betsy, murdered in their home. On November 21, 2013, Russ was sentenced to life in prison, despite having a solid alibi.
Life in prison without parole for a man convicted of stabbing his wife 55 times. Russ Faria is already hoping to appeal the case to get a jury to hear suppressed evidence revealed by the Fox files.
Due to Betsy's insurance money and inconsistencies in Pamela's story, Russ was given a retrial, and finally, on November 6, 2015, he was found not guilty. The law was finally catching up to her, but she was not ready to give up the money or get punished for the crimes she committed. So, somehow, after all this, on August 16, 2016, Pamela made the 911 call to divert the attention of the authorities and frame Russ for yet another crime.
Take me to the bank, you're going to take me to the bank. He put a knife up to my throat there and was yelling stuff. And he kept looking behind him like this. So I put it in gear, and I was thinking how I was going to get out of there when he was looking. And he kept yelling, coming back, and then he looked back again, and I hit his arm with the knife and then shot out of the car and ran inside.
Okay, so you were, I just want to make sure I understand. So you'd already been home, fed the dog, gave him a treat, and you were getting ready to leave. So when you got home, did you leave the car in the driveway, or did you pull in the garage?
I was in the garage.
Okay, so you pulled the car all the way in.
Yes.
And then you got out and you tended to the dog.
No, I did not pull it in the garage. I always pull it in the garage when I'm going to stay. But no, I stayed right there because I was leaving.
Okay,
So right where it was.
So where
it was still
where it
running.
was-
Yeah,
okay.
I just ran in to let him out.
Okay, so you were only in the house just a couple
I was
minutes
just-
more.
Oh, not even a couple minutes, just enough to put his leash on. I brought him out, walked him, blah, blah, blah. All that kind of stuff.
Even if we keep an open mind when judging her, it's very clear that this is no one's reaction when they've been ambushed and attacked by someone. Is this how you would react after having shot somebody? Remorse is secondary. Pamela doesn't seem to be scared, confused, or even shocked by the whole experience. On top of that, staying quiet for a while before answering or responding with blah, 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 etc. are, in fact, very smart ways to get the response right. Now, we know that the detectives can catch the culprits by the way they fumble and how their stories do not match up. But Pamela does not seem to worry about that, because she doesn't even answer the questions directly. Instead, she gives a vague response that could mean multiple things.
The garage, big one was open, and I ran through the garage door.
Okay, so then kind of rush through that. I just want to make sure I understand. So you went in, you let the dog out, you gave him a treat, you're ready to leave again. So you come back out of the house. How did you exit the house? How?
Out the same door.
Same door? Okay.
Yeah, I let him in the same door because the front door was locked.
Okay.
So I was coming in, I come in and out that door. Came out that door, got back in the car.
Okay.
To go again.
Okay.
And that's when the car shot around and somebody jumped out. Before I knew it, they were sitting next to me.
Okay, so let's first describe the car. Can you give a description of the vehicle?
Well, I wasn't really paying attention to the vehicle, more of the shriekness of their tires that they did. It was just a silver, wasn't as small as like a little Toyota, a little bit bigger, but not a big one, sedan. It was 4 doors.
So 4-door,
Mhm.
did you say mid-size? Is that?
Yeah, probably mid-size. Wasn't brand new.
I mean, as you reflect back, do you remember anything anything specific about, other than being silver and being 4 doors, anything on that? You said it wasn't that new. Anything
No, it
else?
wasn't like shiny, like you could tell it was, like, my crash had just hit a 2004 Honda, kind of like older like that, you know, not that it was a piece of crap or anything, but it was, yeah,
It was a veteran car.
yeah, grocery getter. And, it was getting weird, and it was like, because they tore around, and he popped out, and I'm like, my first thought was, did I know him? Because they did it so fast, but then I was like, and I looked back down, and next thing I knew, he was there, so.
Okay, so as I was up there for a few minutes, and I noticed that there was an orange car parked on the street.
That's my next door neighbor's, it's
Okay, that's
broke
your
down.
neighbor's car. Okay,
Mhm.
I wasn't sure. I didn't know where that
It's
came
broke
from.
down.
Okay.
It's been there a while.
So, I'm trying to remember how your street is. Which way did so if you're sitting in your car pointed at the garage, which way did this car come from?
Right here, the right side, that little street there. I don't know what it's called.
So the street behind you.
Behind me, yes.
Because the way and I probably have you draw it out later, but so the street behind you. I know what you're talking about.
Mhm.
I remember being there.
It's it's directly behind my neighbor's driveway,
Okay.
and I'm one over. So I could see them whip around, come out of there. And all they did was come right around, right to my house.
Okay. So he jumps out of the car. He jumped into the passenger front side of your car.
Mhm.
And
Where does he jump out of the silver car from?
I don't know, they asked me that. I really wasn't paying attention. I want to say the back seat, but that may not be true.
For something that did not happen, she sure remembers a lot of little details. Her hands are consistently working, trying to paint a picture for the detectives and make herself sound more convincing. She doesn't give a solid answer to avoid being boxed in her own responses. She has the presence of mind to keep her options open.
Were there other people in the vehicle?
There was all I saw was a driver, because he squealed away, so I was like, what the hell? And he looked.
What was the most distinctive thing about the driver that you remember?
Dark hair, was kind of like a buzz cut, and dark skin, like Hispanic, maybe, something like that. What crosses my mind, I don't know, it could be anybody. I don't know if they were Hispanic, but that's what crossed my mind.
Okay, so you got somewhat of a look at the driver.
Yeah.
Okay. So the guy squealed away
Mhm.
before he, well, I don't want to put words in your mouth. At what point did he get out? Did he squeal away?
Well,
In comparison to what the other guy was doing.
right. As soon as he pulled around, and I wasn't looking again, I looked back down to to get ready to go and stuff. And he pulled around, and I looked up again. The guy had shot out. When he pulled around, the guy shot out, and I looked down again and thought.
She's getting repetitive and almost fumbles, but the manipulator in her does not let her confidence crumble. Yet.
Kind of strange. I don't even know if I thought it was strange, but it was weird. And so I looked up again as he was getting out, and he squealed right off. The guy squealed right off.
So, what if anything did he say?
He said, "You're going to take me to the bank and get Russ's money. We're going now, so get going," type stuff. And he just kept yelling stuff like that at me. And so at this time, I don't have it in gear or anything, or I do have it. No, I don't have it in gear. And I had put it in gear to go because I didn't know what to do. And then that's when I noticed he was looking back. I don't know if he was looking, because cars, I don't know what he was looking at, but he kept looking back, and I noticed that. So I put it back in the gear, and he said, "Get going right now. We're going to the bank." And then he looked back again like this, and I hit his arm, and I shot out of the car.
So when you say I put it back in gear, you mean you put it back in park? Okay.
So my plan was to get out of the car somehow.
Now you will watch her describe the victim and notice how detailed she is.
And now, forgive me, I did not go in the scene. I have not been in the scene.
Okay.
So is he a white male, black male,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Hispanic male?
He's white male.
White male.
He was taller than me. He had blue gym shorts on, and some sort of t-shirt, and sandy blonde hair, and I want to say his eyes were blue, but I'm not sure. It's not like they were like a bright blue or anything like that, noticeable. But I want to say they were light colored eyes. They weren't brown,
Okay.
I don't think. I could be wrong. I really wasn't looking at his face.
Notice anything, any smells?
He didn't, no, he didn't smell. The only thing I noticed is he's yelling and getting more and more upset. He was slurring his words. I thought he was drunk. I didn't smell anything at all. But he did have, I don't know what he had with him, but he kept, like the more he kept repeating himself, he was getting all excited and he was, I thought he was drunk or on drugs or something like that because I couldn't understand him half the time.
Right.
He was yelling crap, I couldn't even understand.
Who notices what your attacker smells like? And how can you not break down or feel shocked that you've just killed a living person, even though he was an alleged attacker? People who kill in self-defense are disturbed by killing people, and some even suffer from PTSD all their lives. But Pamela doesn't seem to feel any of that. The second aspect of the dark triad is psychopathy, characterized by a lack of empathy, impulsivity, and a disregard for social norms and moral values.
And he was, I thought he was drunk or on drugs or something like that because I couldn't understand him half the time.
Right.
He was yelling crap, I couldn't even understand.
This seems to be the most dominant aspect in Pamela Hupp. Not only did she take so many lives, but she also lied about it, framed others, and fooled the authorities. In addition to this, she also did some very strange stuff. The cars in Pamela's neighborhood and workplace were found keyed many times. Her neighbors received strange handwritten notes and animal carcasses at their doorstep. Now, throughout the video, you can notice different aspects of the dark triad highlighted in her personality. In the next clip, you can again sense Pamela's manipulation when she tries to indirectly compliment the detectives. Also notice how she dodges their technique to provide her an alternative to check if she sticks to her story.
I didn't notice like greasy hair, like a homeless person or anything like that.
Okay.
He just looked like a normal person to
Okay.
me. I mean, he wasn't clean cut like you guys, like you're groomed.
Of course, it begs the question, I don't know that we've just asked you straight, have you ever seen this guy before?
No.
Don't know him? He doesn't look like somebody you've seen somewhere before with somebody else. I mean, as you remember back, as you picture him in your mind, there is, you cannot make any link between this guy and you.
No. I mean, I wasn't looking directly at his face. I was trying not to look at him. I do know when he did get in, there was something familiar about him, but I don't know him. So I don't know if I don't know. He seemed familiar, like I should know him, but I do not know him.
And forgive me if Kevin asked this. Did he have, I know you say he's a Caucasian male, but did he have any type of accent that was noticeable to you?
I didn't know because he was bumbling, slurring, and at first I didn't really notice anything, but like I said, he was getting so excited and stuff. As he was yelling at me, I mean, it was like he was drunk. I mean, he was, I literally, like his tongue was this thick. I didn't know what was going on. I figured he was on something, alcohol or something. I didn't know. I knew something was not right because as he was getting excited, it was getting worse. But he said one phrase inside made no sense. He said, I think he said it out in the garage or out in the car too. Something about killing my wife. And I'm like, I mean, I didn't say anything, but it was weird.
Pamela is trying everything in her power to blame Russ for this staged attack. Killing his wife can easily be related to Russ's wife, Betsy.
And he was yammering stuff again about killing me. Again, my focus was to get in the house. I knew I had my phone in my pocket. I was trying to dial 911. I think I did it 3 times before it went through on my cell phone. By then I was inside, and he was trying to get the door. I was trying to hold the door. I couldn't get it locked then. And I was trying to get 911 on the phone. and he was saying stuff. And then the door flew, he got in, it flew open, and I ran into the bedroom. He was yelling stuff, and as I was going in the bedroom, something again about killing my wife, him and Stevie. Me and Stevie, you're gonna kill your wife. So I don't know who that is. I don't know a Steven or a Stevie or Steve. I don't know what he was talking about. He was so blah. It was really hard. It's like his sentences weren't formed by then.
Mm-hmm.
And so none of it made any sense, but he did keep saying, get in the car. I ran in the bedroom. I tried to, I shut that door. I was trying to get it locked, wouldn't latch, got a problem with the door. And I got my gun, turned around, got my gun, nightstand right there, and he was pounding on the door. And once it flew open, that's when I shot him. And I just kept shooting him because he just kept standing there.
How many times did you say you pulled the trigger?
I unloaded the whole gun.
Okay. So you
It
pulled the
was
trigger until
nonstop.
it stopped
I
firing?
just kept pulling until it stopped. Because everybody kept saying that's a little gun and blah, 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 and I gotta recloak. So once that door opened and he was there, I just started shooting and walking towards him until I didn't have any more.
She makes a whole fictitious story to claim that she shot Lewis in self-defense, but notice how she ends a long sentence every time. She lets the gravity of her words set in and, more often than not, leans her face on her hand. She sits there like, there's that, nothing too important. Unless she's used to seeing blood and dead bodies often, this is not the demeanor of a normal person who has just killed a man.
Yeah.
Let me get, you know what, I'm gonna step out for a second, get some white pieces of paper,
Okay.
and I'll be right back, so
Okay.
sit right with me.
Should I tell him or just wait?
Yeah,
I just hold on, let me get just paper
Maybe
on
a
the
piece of paper. It's easier to visualize it if we're seeing it actually drawn. You good on water?
Yeah.
Okay. What type of gun? What type of gun do you own? I mean, do you own? Was it a nightstand? You said it was a little gun. I didn't
I
know.
want to say a 32. Is that a gun? It's got a,
Or maybe a 380.
well, maybe that's it. I just got it for Christmas last year.
Okay.
After the one gal stalked me, that's what I got for a Christmas present.
It seems like she's just chatting about a murder mystery series she's watched, not an incident that happened right in front of her eyes. Manipulators and liars are good with words and stories, but here we need to understand that Pamela seems like a hardcore narcissist too, which completes the last part of the dark triad. Narcissism refers to an inflated self-image, seeking constant attention, and even exploiting others to achieve one's goals.
Did you have a sexual relationship with Betsy Faria?
On what basis? What sexual to you?
Did you ever tell law enforcement officials that you and Betsy were having a sexual relationship?
I did.
She had a mad crush on me. She really, really, really loved me at that time. And it just kept growing from that.
So it's rather interesting to note that her own false confidence and self-image curtails her senses. For example, if we were lying about this situation, we would probably pretend to care and act scared about the fact someone is after our life, pretend to show remorse that we just killed a man, and finally, pretend to act like we did not enjoy it. But Pamela can't even think about these basic things.
So that's your first time. I guess your fingers aren't working.
No, they worked.
Just couldn't get through to 911 though.
It wouldn't go through. I mean, get my phone.
Well, actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because do you mind if we take a look at your phone and see? Because I would love to see what the 911 call.
Well, bring it in here because I'd like to see too.
Well, it's out on the desk, but we'll.
Yeah. I would see how many times I dialed.
Yeah, I'm just curious. I just wanted to.
I would say a couple times. I
Okay.
dialed it trying to get through. I could see it wasn't going through. I couldn't hear anybody, so I would just hang up, try again, and he's bumping me on the door and stuff. So then he just was, once I got them, I was focused on that, and he pushed it open. I don't remember. All I remember, and just kind of blanked out there, is that once that door flew open, because I was so hoping it wouldn't, once it did, I just started shooting. And my thought, I just moved forward on him and kept shooting. My thought was to try to get past this doorway.
At what point did you know you hit him?
I knew I hit him the first time, or I thought I hit him the first time, but he just stood there and looked at me. And so I just kept on shooting because he was just standing there like, so I assumed I hit him because I was this close. I was so close.
So you're legitimately.
I'm walking at him.
So the first time you shot him, would you say you're further than this away from him? Me and you.
Maybe this far.
So, and the, okay.
Maybe from here to you.
And the door opens out. The door
It opens into the bedroom.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah.
So if I was coming into your bedroom, it would open this way or this way?
Towards me, yes. So I'm standing here and in one of these positions here in front of the door, it swings open. I'm standing there, I'm ready.
Okay.
And it swings open and we're just eye to eye and I just start shooting and walking forward because my first thought was to get past this door jam.
Okay.
Didn't even think about I'm shooting him, hitting him. Wasn't thinking about that. I knew I had to get around this person and get back out somehow.
At what point did he fall? Do you remember?
I had shot quite a few times.
Before you fell?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quite a few times.
If you had to guesstimate how many shots you think you fired?
I don't know. I did all of them that was in there.
You
And
know
I
how
think
many?
it was full.
Do you know how many? Do you know how many rounds go in that
I think
particular
6.
weapon? 6.
I'm guessing.
The interrogators are employing a technique called the questions and answers method. By continuously posing questions, investigators can uncover inconsistencies and gauge her reactions. But Pamela has done this interrogation bit before and gotten away with a crime, so she knows what she's doing. The usage of phrases like I don't know, I don't remember, maybe, can't swear by it are keeping her safe even now. Despite her emotionless and almost cheerful mood, it cannot be confirmed that she is, in fact, guilty.
And when you stepped over him, he wasn't moving. Did you make any observations of him when you stepped over him?
No. No. I was worried about getting my dog and getting out there. All I knew is he was down and he wasn't moving as far as I could tell or saying anything. So that was good for me at that point.
Do you know? I mean, do you know where you hit him? I mean, were you? I mean, did you take aim
No,
at
I
a
was
particular
going
body
right
part?
here. I was going right for the mass.
Okay.
I know I'm not good enough shot to shoot you in the head because that was too.
When's the last time you went to the range before this?
I've never been to the range.
Or I'm sorry, you and your husband go out shooting, you said?
Yeah,
When's the
that was
last-
last fall. Last fall.
So about a year ago almost, quite shot,
Yeah.
just shy of a year?
Mhm.
Okay. So that's the first time
I
you
grew
shot?
up shooting. No, I grew up shooting.
No, was that the first time you shot that gun?
Yes. Yes.
Pamela is showing the signs that most killers exhibit. Thirst for acknowledgement. Watch how happy she gets when her technique is given a minor recognition. She is her biggest fan.
Here's another question for you I have, because it's unusual, here's what I say, without some type of tactical training or military training, law enforcement training, is to fire and then approach the target. Where'd you learn that? Or is that? I mean,
I did it.
What reason I ask is, I mean, when you and your husband go out, does he, besides the shooting, do you guys work on tactical movements or something like that?
We just shoot at the target on a tree.
Okay.
Because my thought was to get the hell out of that room is what I wanted to do. I didn't want to be pinned in that small space because my room's really small because there just was no way to get out. If he got in, I wasn't getting out. So to walk forward at him partially was I wanted to get out of that room and partially was I wanted to be sure I hit him.
And he was not advancing at that point. You
Well,
were.
I was advancing.
Yes, but he
Yeah.
was.
No, well, he had just knocked the door open and I started shooting.
Okay.
And I'm walking as I'm shooting.
All right.
So, because as soon as that happened and I shot, he just, nothing. So I didn't even think I hit him because he just stood there then. And I just kept shooting and then when my dog was running all over the place.
Now here's when the detectives dive deep into Pamela and Russ's history with each other.
Okay. I'm trying to think of all any more details here. Go ahead.
Obviously, there's some history with past things, and that's why they said they wanted Russ's money, correct? They said something about Russ going to the bank. Kind of got to dig in a little bit.
He said it's
the
one
financial
point the
aspect.
money that I stole from Russ. At one point in the car, because he kept saying, we're going to the bank, you're getting Russ's money. And I'm like, get out of my car, who are you, what are you talking about? At first, I didn't even know what the hell he was talking about. And at one point, he had said the money you stole from Russ.
When I stepped out, you guys discussed that all, okay?
No, I mean,
I think I told
Yeah,
one of the other officers.
Okay.
He had said that at some point, and still it didn't click with me. I was just worried about getting out of there and what the hell. The guy was so thick-tongued that even when he said stuff, it took, with everything going on and how he was talking, a second for like, what the hell is this guy talking about? It just was so mumble-jumble. It didn't make sense. Some of them weren't complete sentences. It was frightening.
Not to get too personal here, but can you kind of fill us in on the financial aspect of the Faria stuff and where all that stands now?
She had signed over me as beneficiary, and I was paid out.
How much?
$150,000.
Okay.
And I still have that $150,000.
Okay.
And that's known to people that I still have the $150,000 because broadcasted that. Because at one point when I was talking to prosecutors up in Lincoln County, she kept going, "Do you have that money? Can I see your account?" You know, whatever. And I just brought it up to her in cash and gave it to her. And so when I was at trial for it,
I'm sorry to interrupt you. That was the judge asking for that, or the
No,
prosecutor?
Prosecutor.
Prosecutor.
She was asking to see if I still had. She
Okay.
goes, "Do you still have the money?"
Okay.
I said, "Yeah." And she goes, "Well, can you show me that you still have it?"
Okay.
Whatever.
So you
This
brought it
is-
up and showed her.
And I did. And I
Okay.
brought up a bag and I gave it to her. And I had cash in it.
In 2014, Betsy Faria's daughters, Leah and Maria Day, had sued Pamela over the life insurance money of $150,000. Despite all their efforts, they lost the case to their mother's killer, Pamela. As the interrogation proceeds, Pamela is trying to strategically steer the conversation in a way which would make the detectives question Russ's role in this whole ordeal and how she was being nice.
She goes, "Well, I want to change my beneficiary to you. Well, I want my kids to have it. I don't want Russ to have it."
If Betsy thought she didn't have anything else in the world, she would want me to have whatever she had. In her view, I was rich. In her eyes. She'd always tell me I was rich. She thought I was rich. She wished she was rich like me. I wasn't rich.
At the end of her life, she was somebody that didn't have much in the way of financial resources. Is that fair to say?
He just got out.
So he had just been released when you went back to trial for the daughters.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So he knew the cash story.
Okay.
And he knew, because he was sitting behind us at the trial, that I still had the money.
Okay.
And right after that, the place, I don't think he knows this, but the place where I had my hair done, him and his cousin went there and confronted a hairdresser there.
Was this on film?
Yeah, and the police were called and
I remember
everybody.
this.
Yeah,
Okay.
and because somebody wrote something on Facebook. That's how violent he is. And they came and were screaming at this poor girl because they didn't like what she wrote. And I know there was a gun involved with the owner. Everybody was getting that worked up and stuff. The police were called. I don't know what happened to it.
When's the last time, have you ever had any conversations through any medium, social media, phone, in person with Russ?
At the girls' trial in January, he was there and he's just kept lurking around and all that. And we kind of ran into each other going to the bathroom and stuff on a break. And I said to him, "Oh, congratulations on your release." I know what to say to him. I was just being nice. And he said, "Oh, thanks." And that was it. And turned around and walked away. He had like his cousin with him, just his cousin, the same cousin that confronted this hairdresser. So that's the last time I've seen him, and we didn't really speak. We just said that.
Something
Niceties.
Let's take a second and talk about Russ, whose already sick wife was mercilessly murdered by someone. He knew Pamela did it. Then he was framed for her death by the murderer herself. Imagine the trauma and grief. Now, just after he gets out of the jail, he receives a text from Pamela congratulating him for being out of jail, when she was the reason he was in there in the first place. It's a clear sign of narcissism, which involves constant validation and attention. Pamela may be dismissive or indifferent to the emotions of those around her, and due to the psychopathic aspect in her personality, she even enjoys others' pain.
When you knocked the gun out, or the knife that Do you know, did it fall out of his hand or did it stay in his hand?
I hit it as hard as I could, or I hit him, and I think it fell. In my mind, it fell.
Okay.
Didn't stop to look. I, at the same time, opened the door and just ran out.
I know we just talked at length about what happened today.
I just did one of those
Where?
in the ambulance.
Okay. Was it as detailed as what we've just discussed here?
I think so, yeah.
You think so? Okay. You know what I'll do? I'm gonna go track it down.
Okay.
I want to read through it and maybe might have you come back and clarify some things for me if the statement wasn't too terribly clear. Okay. You said you haven't eaten any lunch or anything. Are you hungry or you're okay? Okay. Is your water okay for now?
No soda?
You good? Okay. Give us a few minutes and we'll be back. Okay.
Pamela is left alone in the room for some time. According to the read technique, investigators can do this to either regain emotional control after a heavy interrogation session or discuss further strategies. In Pamela's case, however, they may have done this to check the authenticity of her statements with respect to the Russ Faria case. Such breaks also build pressure on the subject. In this case, watch how the investigator has to keep her engaged so that she doesn't ask for a lawyer.
How are you doing? I'm gonna go to the restroom real fast and then I'll be right back. You good? Anything I can get you? I'll step out for a second.
I'm supposed to get my husband.
Yeah, I think
Should
Detective Wolf was gonna go down, or Sergeant Wolf was gonna go down there and talk
Can
to
I
him.
call my lawyer?
Yeah.
Do I need my lawyer up here?
Do you?
Well, how long am I going to be up here?
You're up here voluntarily.
No, I know, but
We're not holding you.
no, I know, but how
Okay.
long they're going to kill me if I don't have one, just because of everything that's been going on. Should I call them, or are we going to be here much longer?
Okay, you are here. You are here of your own free will. Okay,
Okay.
you have to make those decisions for yourself. I can't.
Well, I
tell
didn't know
what
what you
I do.
guys needed.
No, let me tell you what we still have left to do. Okay, in this incident, we need to make sure that we can separate your DNA from his DNA. So what we'll do is once we get a search warrant and all that stuff at the house, we'll swab him for DNA, and then they'll do swabs in the house and that kind of thing to make sure that he wasn't inside your house somewhere else or doing something they should have been doing. On the flip side, we also get your DNA because we want to make sure that we don't confuse, that we know whose DNA is in the house. Okay, so we were going to do that. 2, we were going to. What else? Oh, we're going to take photographs. We were going to have county ID come up and take photographs of you, just showing your injuries or lack thereof, or just to show in case tomorrow some bruising appears, we can document the stages of whatever happens going forward. Okay, and then 3, so I'm gonna get some forms for the consent for the DNA for a swab, and the swab it's like a Q-tip rubbed inside the cheek. I put it in a box, sealed away. I do one on each side of the cheek, and then it gets to the lab. And his DNA will be sent to the lab. Your DNA will be sent to the lab, and then any swabs we take from the vehicle, showing that his DNA was on the knife. Those types of things. And so we just want to make sure that we have all that done, okay? And then, what else am I missing? Oh, the phone. Your phone, if he has a phone on him, we'll do a search warrant on his phone and see who he's been talking to, who's been contacted him. With your consent, we would like to glance to your phone. Just make sure that you weren't getting any calls or, there isn't anything going on your end of the phone. And that helps us clear you. You're making sure that you don't know this guy and this guy doesn't know you and those types of things. So those are just steps that we have to take in the investigation, okay? Another thing I wanted to ask you was, I guess your husband told the officers of a subject who was sitting on the sewer yesterday, maybe? Thought a subject was sitting on the sewer, not doing much of anything. At some point, I don't know if the guy knew that your husband was there or in the area or whatever, but he just kind of stood up, he never looked back, and he walked away. So I guess my question for you is, do you recall recent hours, days, weeks of anything that's occurred around your house?
There happened, me and my husband were leaving our house, I guess it's been a month ago, and there was, and I couldn't even tell you, it was a light colored vehicle. I wasn't really paying attention. I did notice the person in it. Like, I couldn't describe him, but it was the same person. And I said to my husband, I go, that car, what is that car keeps, I think that car's casing me, is what I said. And he blew it off as a joke. But I kept seeing it like a couple of days in a row. It was parked and then it would just drive off. And I said that to him. That's been about a month ago.
Okay, so nothing for the last month? Okay, and then you didn't see this guy sitting on the sewer?
No.
You didn't see anybody else creeping around the house or anything like that? Okay. Yeah, again, Sergeant Wolf is down there talking to your husband right now. You know, like I said, you're here voluntarily to talk to us to help us get through this, okay? You know, we're not holding you here. But you know, the way I look at it is you're helping me. So,
Then the detectives take DNA samples from her and read out the statement to her. She starts joking around and seems to think that her charm is working on the officers. Her narcissistic tendencies inhibit her from realizing that people can see her for what she is, a clear, remorseless psychopath.
so did that sound?
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, I mean, pretty much. I read that. I tried to read that word for word. I mean,
No, that is. I mean, that's exactly what happened. It wasn't as detailed probably as you
as we talked
pulling
about
stuff
earlier.
out of me, but
Well, we also went back
Yeah.
to yesterday, so. Okay, so right now, I think the one thing that we would be waiting on is to have somebody come up here and take photographs of you. If you want to walk around or do whatever, you're free to do so. I mean, we would like you to hang around just so we could get that, you know, get that done. And if there's anything that comes up, once we get in the house, we might have additional questions. I don't know. So, I mean, we'd like you to hang around.
how are you going to call me if I don't have my phone?
Well, where are you going to go?
I don't know yet.
Will you probably be with your husband?
Yeah.
How about you call your husband?
It's that luck.
Do we have his phone number?
You're just smart aleck one, aren't you?
No.
I'm playing. You always look like you're goofing. Yes, I'll probably be with him.
Need another bar? It's
If
cold.
it's closed, I mean,
It's right
don't
here.
go, okay, yeah, thank you.
Yep.
And I'm just messing with you, because you always look like you're kidding around.
I always look like I was kidding around that one time there, right?
Just the once.
She was chit-chatting with the detective for a long time, talking about how beautiful Naples is, what kind of work it takes to manage a business of flipping houses. Her conversations were so casual and lacking in empathy that they did not even hint at the fact that there was a dead man lying cold in her own house. Then she starts talking about her dead mother.
But I'll say this, I appreciate you coming up here today and being as open with us as you have. I know there's other things you'd rather be doing today, but I appreciate it.
Not really, I actually feel safer up here.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do when I was in the driveway and stuff, like safe-wise. Because I kept thinking, she kept saying they're coming, they're on their way, and I kept thinking you were going to around the corner, and it never happened. So I didn't know what to do, and then once they put me in the ambulance, I felt a lot better.
Okay, good. And then the ambulance people treat you all right.
Oh yeah, they were awesome.
They're medics,
The
I'm sure.
policemen were nice, and everybody was nice. It just, I feel bad when I talk, I'm so scrambled because I can't help it.
What's up? What's up?
My whole family's here. We came back when my father died to help my mother. And we've been here ever since. That was in 2000 he died. So we've been back ever since to help her. But let me think about it after this.
Well, I was just curious.
What would you do?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't know. I don't know. If this is home, I don't know.
It doesn't really feel like it right now.
Basically, your mom still lives in the area?
My mom died.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She died.
I'm sorry.
Oh, well, it gets better. She died in 2 years ago. It'll be 2 years in October, and Chris Hayes posted stuff that I killed her because she was the one who fell off the balcony in Fenton. The thing broke down the spindles and she fell. He tripped and went through it. He posted.
It would be extremely difficult if she were to back into this and the railing gave way and she just went over. That would explain why she's laying on the ground in the manner that she is. Now, if she went through face first, you could see where a post could have inflicted this damage to her subdural tissue. But then again, if she went through face first, how did she wind up on her back with her head facing out? I mean, this was not an Olympic dive that she was performing here. We're talking about a 77-year-old woman who weighs 218 pounds. She's got a bad back and uses a mechanical assistance to walk any distance. It's highly unlikely that she pulled off a Jesse Owens-style sprint here.
The social cognitive perspective of the dark triad personality focuses on how individuals with dark triad traits perceive and interact with the social world. It suggests that people exhibiting those traits may have learned manipulative or exploitative behaviors through social interactions or lack of emotional bonding with caregivers. Although Pamela did not have a tough childhood, she did not seem to have a good bond with her parents.
2 months ago, my mom got in an accident and we had to put her in a home. I really hate to say it, wanted money. My mom's worth $500,000 that I get when she dies. My mom is dementia and doesn't half the time know who we are.
Right.
Has been living alone in a condo. And I know that sounds really morbid and stuff like that, but I am a life insurance person. But if I really wanted money, there was an easier way than trying to combat somebody that's physically stronger than me. I'm just saying.
People suffering from psychopathy consider themselves superior, which can explain why Pamela could target people who were sick and unwell. Betsy, who had cancer, her own mother Shirley Mae Newman, who had Alzheimer's, and Louis Gumpenberger, who had limited mental capacity because of a car accident. She disguised herself as a caregiver for the sick and vulnerable, only to harm them later. Her initial act of care made her actions hard to suspect or question.
Some people won't. I just don't get it, you know? I just don't get why these people keep coming at me. That's why when I got that money, I never did anything with it. It was like cursed. It's like I don't have anything to do with it. Everybody wants it.
Everybody likes money.
Ain't that much, really? To be crazy.
150,000? Not really.
It's not. Not in this day and age.
No.
I just had to buy a new car and it was $30,000 like that.
I know.
150 don't buy you squat.
No. I mean, obviously it's a good chunk of change. It is a good chunk of money, but
If someone gave me to, it's great. It's nice. But like I said,
it's not.
mine's still sitting in the bank.
I'm not retiring and stopping work because I got 150,000.
Oh, hell no.
That's what my point is.
Yeah,
It's
I
not.
couldn't even pay off my house.
It's not life-changing money.
Right. Can't even pay off my house. So, but I guess to some people, they want it. And I guess I was stupid at the beginning because at the beginning it was like, no, it's not what she wanted to do, or she would have done something different. You're not getting it. And I dug my heels on. It was probably stupid. I should have just gave it away and put the problem on someone else.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but
I just know people's greed.
a lot of people are greedy people. That's for sure.
I don't even know if it's greed. It's like they deserve it. Like it's entitlement. That entitlement, like her daughters wanted it. And I get that. I get it. But you know, she had that policy for 15 years. They were never once on it. She's changed it a couple times, but never to them, and would never. And Russ was the last one on it. But she's changing that because she was leaving him.
She, like I said, I haven't followed that case too much, but she not have a good relationship with her daughters or something? No.
She loved her daughters, but they were, one was in and out of youth in need and that kind of stuff.
Wouldn't be good with the money.
No, the one was in youth in need.
Yeah,
She got to get a settlement, $36,000. Gone. You ask them why? You think you buy a car as a young girl? Nothing. Partying, drugs, booze, that kind of stuff. They're the kind of girls that, when my friend was dying of cancer, that if she didn't give them what they wanted, it would be nothing to say. You're such a bitch, you know those kind of kids?
Right.
Bitch.
Yeah, that's okay.
Never said that to her.
No, you should.
First, you would have killed me.
Right.
Second, you just didn't.
Right. Yeah, I would.
But that was common.
Did you talk to anybody? Maybe you didn't like stop and get out of your car necessarily, but did you make any contact with anybody? Did you get gas at a gas station?
Just that morning at
What?
Conoco.
Okay, so you got gas at the Conoco.
Yeah, and then I got my soda.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, there's a- okay.
So I talked to the gal at the counter because I see her every day.
Okay. Didn't stop and talk to anybody else? That's it. I was just trying to make sure we knew kind of if we could narrow it down, just so we could show that you're a kind of code 915. You're a
Yeah.
What's that? So. Okay.
You need a water or anything? I don't
No,
know. Oh, that's yours? Okay.
We're working on getting those closed.
Oh, okay.
And then as soon as we can get, we got closed. How about that? I didn't see your point. So, Ms. Hupp,
Yeah.
what we're gonna do is I'm gonna go get Officer Club again, and then we're probably gonna have you go in that other room and change out of your clothes. She's gonna seize those clothes. Okay. And we have your jeans. We got jeans and a shirt for you. So we got clothes for you. So just hang tight, okay? I'll go get Officer Club.
We can find out. Have you ever been arrested before? Traffic offense, traffic warrant, DWI or anything? No?
Nope.
Okay.
Not that I know of.
Okay.
Never been arrested.
Okay. The reason I asked, we might get your fingerprints, just as we're doing our investigation. And if somebody's in your house, elimination prints to kind of separate who's who. Cool?
That's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
The detectives discovered a note and $900 in Lewis's pocket. The note was about kidnapping Pamela and taking Russ's money. The detectives were able to find out that she had lured Lewis to her house, shot him, and left fake evidence. She also tried to kidnap Carol McAfee a mere 6 days before she shot Lewis dead.
So I put a folding pocket knife up this sleeve and a kitchen knife in the front because I'm getting ready to get into a stranger's car that I'm pretty sure, like 99% sure, is up to something illegal. I sat there and I listened to Tim Lomar tell me his version of how he thinks I was supposed to die that day. Talk about leaving you numb from the neck down. It's hard, you make jokes about it, whatnot, but you sit and you think about, she was really going to kill me.
On August 23, 2016, Pamela was charged with Louis Gumpenberger's murder. Now, the question is, what should one do after getting caught? This is Pamela's answer.
Do you have the right to remain silent?
And they ask her to initial she understands. Officers leave again to try her attorney.
We'll see if we can get hold of him.
Hupp touches her neck, slowly, feeling both sides. You can see how she's thinking about what's next. She knows she's on camera, so she's subtle. Watch this.
There's an officer here, a female officer that's going to escort you to the bathroom, okay?
About 5 minutes pass when you can hear officers yelling. These evidence photos show how she stabbed herself, her neck, both sides, and strikes to both wrists. Too many to count.
Pamela Hupp entered an Alford plea, in which she admitted the prosecutors had enough evidence to convict her while still maintaining her innocence. On August 12, 2019, she was given a life sentence in prison without the possibility of parole. Finally, on July 12, 2021, she was charged with the murder of Betsy Faria as well. Any further updates on this case are pending.
She's been manipulative the whole way. She wants everybody to believe that she's still in control. She lost control, and she's never going to have control again. So I think this was just one more way for her to try to hold on to every last little bit she can.
Russ Faria ended up finding a partner in Carol McAfee, who's going to be another victim of Pamela's.
Out of all this bad and this bad, evil person, I mean, she's evil incarnate. If it weren't for her, I wouldn't have met this lovely lady here. I think we both make each other pretty happy.
And what was the first thing you said to her?
I'm sorry about your wife, and I hope you find happiness.
Money can sometimes have a profound influence on individuals, pushing them to engage in morally reprehensible actions. Psychopaths, known for their limited capacity to empathize with others, may only truly comprehend the consequences of their actions when they themselves experience suffering. This phenomenon sheds light on why, when apprehended, many murderers opt for death rather than enduring the legal consequences of their deeds. Whether this applies to Pamela or if her attempt to stab herself was merely an attention-seeking ploy is up for debate. Given this context, we invite you to share your thoughts and insights on Pamela's behavior. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. If you'd like us to cover any case, please drop your suggestions. Also remember to like, comment, and subscribe so that we can keep covering such cases. Until next time, stay safe.